He's going to hang on. Oh, they'll stop the fight. Down he goes. Oh, he's hurt. It's all over.
I told you today, I'm still the greatest of all time. Never again defeat me. Never again say that I'm going to be defeated.
I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
They're throwing the towel in. The fight's all over. The fight's all over.
This is referee Mark Goddard, and it's your time to enter the FightMad zone. Get ready for 5 rounds of uninterrupted FightMad talk. I want you to keep it clean, protect yourself at all times, and remember, no blows below the belt. If you want to touch gloves, do it now. Go back to your corners. Let's do this.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the FightMad Podcast with myself, Joe Long from Fighters Inc., as we approach our 25th year in the combat sports sector. We are in the FightMad zone with someone, they say this a lot and I don't really like it, someone that needs no introduction at all, but I'm going to give him an introduction. First of all, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, you Toreg, is a friend, is a business partner, is an acquaintance, is the former UFC champion of the world, is a Hall of Famer, is an actor, is a family man. Yeah, correct? Family man?
Yeah. I'm waiting for the but.
There's no but.
Oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the FightMad Zone. Mr. Michael Bisping. Welcome, Michael. Thank you for coming on, sir.
No, I thought it was going to be, he's a friend, he's da-da-da-da, but he's a total pain in the ass or whatever it was. But okay, no ifs, no buts, no maybes.
There'll be a little bit of sarcasm within the podcast, no doubt.
No doubt.
Andreas, our producer, actually put in my notes, when did you actually first meet Michael Bisping? And I could go on and tell the story when I first met Michael Bisping, but I think it's only right that you tell our listeners for podcast number 1 how we first met and what you done.
I just want to say congrats on the podcast, Joe.
Great
idea. Obviously, if anyone doesn't know, Joe's been in the fight game peripherally for a very, very long time and well respected in the UK, internationally as well. Come on, what am I saying? Him and his business partner, Paul, they do a lot of great things. You're a great person. You're a great friend. You are a business partner. And it's a great idea, Joe, because I know with the people that you have, the contacts that you have, you can bring some excellent guests on and give some nice perspective for people to listen to. So well done for that. I met Joe, Wembley Conference Centre, Cage Rage 7 after party, right? I went out there, Mark the Beast Epstein, I was brought in as cannon fodder, knocked him out in the second round. No big deal. That's not the point of the story. And we were in the after party and this Cockney wide boy comes up, slips me his business card. You know, he's like, oh, how you doing, mate? Yeah, not a bad fight there. I'm fucking Joe from fucking K1, yeah? Here you go, give me a call sometime. I'm like, I didn't call him. I'm like, who the fucking Arthur Daly trying to sell me a used car? I'm like, no, you're good, mate, you're good. No, I'm messing. I'm messing. No, that's how we met, though. I gave it to my manager. Paul Davies at the time.
So you say?
It's true. It's true. I was all tickled. I went, oh, K1, I'd love to fight some K1. Gave it to my manager. First of many shit managers I've had, but gave it to him, and he never called. But it was fate. It was destined to be, Joe. The romance was always going to blossom.
Seconds out, round 1.
It was always going to blossom, and we've worked on numerous events, numerous fight camps, numerous fight shows, numerous seminars, numerous after parties where we have had the 3-day hangovers. And, yes. I'm proud to call you a friend. And again, thank you for coming on. But I'm going to stop blowing smoke.
A good friend. We'll stop with all that. But you're a very, very close friend of mine, Joe. Very close friend, but still, continue.
There you go. And we're going to go straight into the FightMad. We're calling it the FightMad zone, Michael. And you're like a little bit of a, you're the first man on. So you don't know what questions are coming at you.
I have no idea.
It's going to be a little different. You've had some scraps in your time, and no doubt you've had some scraps, outside of the octagon and outside of the ring.
Yep.
What is Michael Bisping's first ever fight memory? Now, we're talking ever.
Yeah, I know it.
Shoot.
Well, hold on. Fight memory. I mean, that would probably be one of. It's not the story I'm going to tell, but the reality would be, growing up in my house, I got the shit kicked out of me every day. My mom was a psycho. I mean, these days, my mom's a little sweetheart. She is. You would look at her. She's so quiet and talks like this. Oh, Michael, you bad wee bugger. So you are. She's like the sweetest lady. My God, she could go to work with a rolling pin back in the day. Anything, coat hangers, whatever it was. She was, love you dearly, Mom, but my God. And then my dad, my dad, he's a big fella. He's 6'6". He loved to take that belt off and give you a whipping. He'd love to stand at the end of the garden with a garden cane and whip you to death. Trust me, I got the shit kicked out of me. And of course, I had 3 older brothers as well. 2 older brothers, 1 younger. And they also joined in and tag teamed my mum and dad and beat the crap out of me. So it's no wonder I ended up fighting professionally for a living. But first fight, if you will, as usual, Joe, it's the same old story. Sticking up for somebody else. We
know that one. Yeah.
Got me in a lot of trouble when I was a kid. Yeah, of course, I like to fight. I did, and I never shied away from confrontation. But most of the time, I was fighting someone else's battles. On this occasion, and it just kind of sets the tone, really. I was this is not normal behavior. I think I was 8 years old. I was 8 years old in the playground. And this guy, Martin Rimmer, God rest his soul, he's dead now. He passed away in an accident in the army. Very, very nice guy. And another friend of mine that I went to school with, Tim Fagan. I was walking along the playground and he was pushing Tim into the fence. So I walked over and said, hey, what are you doing, mate? Do you want to do that? Pick up someone your own size. And he squared up to me and got in my face. And we're 8 years old. He probably thought I was going to push him or something like that. But I was like, don't, stuck the fucking nut on him.
At 8 years old, you were sticking the nut on him.
8 years old. It was a good one as well. And I got suspended from school. And that was kind of like, yeah. So when you ask me, what's your first ever memory of a fight? And I think there might have been some before that, but that's the one. I'm 42 now, Joe. Do you know what I mean?
That sticks in the mind.
Anything younger than 8, it's hard to access those files. I forgot the password a long time ago. Do you know what I mean? But that one kind of stuck out. So there you go.
Brilliant. So that's going to go in the record books on round 1 for the FightMad podcast.
It's not even that good of a story.
No. But I think there's a little, there's a little whiff of Michael Bisping in there that you didn't throw an overhand right, or you didn't push him. You actually headbutted him. So there's obviously been a little concern about you from a young age, headbutting people at the age of 8, but it's good.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I like it.
But yeah, no, definitely, it's not normal behavior. You know what I mean? It did set a little alarm bells ringing with the teachers, perhaps. Like
just a little tinge.
We might have to keep an eye on this one. Do you know what I mean? Is what they may have said in the staff room. But listen, defense 101. Don't get into the headbutt zone. If you're going to talk shit, don't be in the headbutt zone. Simple as that. If you're close and personal, it's not the optimal range for a hook or a punch or whatever. Fuck off. Little Glasgow kiss. There you go. Take it, buddy.
You're there.
Round 2.
Round 2. We're gonna escalate forward, and okay. I'm very intrigued with you with this question, because I know we've spoke about fight, many athletes over the years. Who is your all-time favorite fighter, and why?
Hard question.
I know.
Tough question for me to answer that. Yeah, I'll give you some thought, and I'll talk whilst I'm thinking, just so it's not dead air. But when I was a kid getting into this, he wasn't a fighter, but I was really inspired by Jean-Claude Van Damme when I was a kid. When I was like 10 years old, my dad bought me Bloodsport. Was it Bloodsport? I think it was Bloodsport on VHS. And I was like, I must have watched that a million times. I was already doing martial arts, but I just wanted to be Van Damme so bad. But anyway, he's not a fighter. But in the UFC or worldwide, favorite fighter of all time? So we're talking boxing and everything.
Anything, the whole spectrum.
Oh God, that's impossible. Who's yours, Joe? Who would you say?
You know what? Who mine is, and and there's a reason why he's mine, is because when I was young, I found him very exciting because he could go one way or the other. And it was actually watching with my father, Thomas Hearns.
Right.
Because he could put it on someone and then the next second he's knocked down. And his legs would go. And I found him so exciting to watch. And like the wars he obviously had with, with Leonard was and Hagler was second to none. So...
And that's what you want to see. And that's why fighters like that capture your imagination, because it's excitement. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. Everyone wants to see domination. Everybody wants to see a Mike Tyson going out there destroying people. But when it's back and forth like that, not only is it edgy, you see stuff, but you respect the guy so much as well,
You're bang on there. And he captured my imagination when I was young. It was like, wow, this guy.
Yeah, it was weird because like when I was a kid, I was always a scrapper. I was always got it. An embarrassing amount of fights. I was always fighting, but no one ever inspired me, if you will. Yeah, I liked that, but I never watched a boxer. I was never a Muhammad Ali fan, if I'm honest. I was probably a little too young for that anyway. Boxing, I used to like Frank Bruno. I was a big fan of Frank Bruno when I was a kid, but again, I can't say he was my favorite fighter. That would be a lie. Obviously, now I'm so embroiled in the UFC and MMA world. I'll give you an MMA name. I don't know. Anderson Silva, probably. I loved that. I was like the biggest fan of Anderson Silva, and that's why I wanted to fight him so much. And I know I talked a lot of shit going into that fight, but I had to do that to strip him down mentally because I couldn't look at him as the icon that he was. Do you know what I mean? So I think he was taken aback and caught off guard by everybody, and everyone was, because I was very, I was insulting. He did take steroids, so I have a problem with that anyway. So I stood by a lot of what I said, but it was also for me mentally preparing. I couldn't go in there as that this was the guy that was knocking everybody out there, defended the belt 16 times or something crazy, So he's certainly one that when you said it, he popped into my mind straight away. I didn't want to say it because I wanted to give a better answer, but certainly he was someone that, throughout my tenure as a UFC fighter, when I first got in the UFC, when I won the Ultimate Fighter 3, 2006, June 5th or something like that, the Hard Rock in Las Vegas. 2 days later, Anderson Silva made his debut against who did I fight? I fought Chris the Crippler. Chris Lieben. I can't believe I forgot his name. I'm a little bit punchy. Yeah, Chris Lieben. He made his UFC debut, and I was there ringside because obviously I just fought, so we stuck around for a few days. And he destroyed Chris Lieben. And I was like, wow, look at what he did there. And then obviously the next fight became the champ. So the whole time I was watching him, seeing what he was achieving, seeing what he was doing, seeing how he was smashing records and just enamoring the entire world. You know what I mean? So he had, I had my eyes on him for a long time. So to be honest, if I said a different name, it probably wouldn't be true. And I don't even know if Anderson would be the name, but he's the closest to a name I could give you.
I got you. That's tremendous. So we'll throw two in the mix for you. We'll go with Van Damme.
And of course, I beat the guy as well. Let's just throw that in there.
Yeah,
I'm joking.
And I'm sure that is in your book.
I'm
sure that's that's
the
in your
Sunday
book.
Times bestseller.
Amazing. Quitters never win. Nice cheeky little plug there.
Round 3.
We're going to go into round 3, Mike.
What about round 2? Round one was the first fight.
1, 2.
Oh.
Yeah.
You can count.
I can. We're going on to round 3, and this is where we go a little bit deeper.
Okay.
So we want to know on the FightMad podcast, in the FightMad zone, round 3 for Michael Bisping, what is your biggest fight that you've overcome in life?
Often, and I said this just recently, somebody said to me, what is, your biggest achievement from your fight career? And I think they were expecting me to say, when I won the belt, or when I defended it in Manchester, or maybe when I, beat Anderson Silva, or when I won the Ultimate Fight. They were expecting a fight reference. And I said, to be honest, I said, my biggest achievement, if you will, is it's just getting out of bed every day, coming downstairs, seeing my wife, seeing my kids, and it's a little self-serving and maybe a bit braggadocious, but to see the life that I've given them, you know. Like I didn't have a terrible childhood, you know. I got my ass kicked a few times, and we were never loaded. But you know, it wasn't bad. But still, like, you always want better for your children, and to see the life that I've been able to manage to give to my children, you know, and see the life that we've got and the opportunities that they have, you know, for a little toe rag that left school at 16 with no qualifications, that went to prison, that was definitely destined for nothing, that was trending the wrong direction big time. No one gave me a chance of any kind of success in life. Teachers wrote me off. I was a fool. I was an idiot. I was very immature when I was a kid. But to be able to turn that all around, and it encapsulates everything, I guess. But just to now be retired and still be doing stuff like this, doing a podcast, flirting with a bit of acting, doing business with yourself, Joe, and the things that I get up to on the day-to-day, commentating the UFC, and still have a post-athletic career, because all athletes, certainly fighters, you know, they should worry about what they're going to do afterwards. And I was always terrified what I was going to do when my fight career was done. You know, I spent many years clocking in for minimum wage, you know, working 50, 60 hours a week and still being absolutely skint when it's all said and done. You know, maybe enough to go for a few pints on a Friday night, you know, but going to TJ Hughes to buy bloody markdown clothing and whatnot. Do you know what I mean? Everyone wants better. And now here we are, retired for years now. And, you know, we're still living a good life. And that, to me, that's my biggest accomplishment, to me, to see, you know, what I've been able to give my family.
That is amazing. I mean, I've been with you. I've been around it, and what an amazing family you have, by the way.
Thank you.
Big shout out to Rebecca. I don't know how she puts up with you, to be perfectly honest.
Neither do I. She's a saint. I do not deserve her. But
she's a saint. But throughout that whole timeline, there must have been a low point, a real low point. And I've been with you at a few low points. What springs to mind, which is the lowest point, what you've hit, what you've had to get back up and get over it and carry on on that road? I mean, in life, we all have low points, right? No one's a robot.
Yeah.
So throughout that lovely story, which is all in the book.
All in the book. And it's going to be, and this is another cheeky plug, in the documentary, which is coming out soon.
Documentary, yeah.
And
can I pull you up on that, by the way?
Go ahead.
I was actually supposed to be in that, and the film crew couldn't get to London. They wanted to stay in the north of England, but that's the second little thing we've put out there. But when you hit the bottom, what? Yeah,
but hold on on that, ladies and gentlemen, Joe, you're a good mate of mine. Fighters Inc. do great things.
Thank you.
Mickey Rourke, Vin Diesel, Daniel Cormier, Dana White. I'm sorry if Joe Long wasn't at the top of the list, he'd be like, "Oh, we've got time and room and budget for one more guest. Is it Vin Diesel or is it Joe Long?" You know what I mean?
It hurts me to my soul. It would be. It would be. I actually put it out there. I did actually phone you
Joe,
once, and I think
we talked like this, then maybe we would have had you on the documentary.
I am Groot. Shout out, Ben. Love you, buddy. All right.
So I did actually phone you once, and you actually superstarred me off, and you said, "Joe, I've got to go. I'm on a jet in Rio. I'm on a private jet in Rio with Vin, not even Diesel, with Vin." And I've got to go, and I put the phone down, and I thought, what a tosser he's changed.
Yeah. No, I know. What a
anyway,
wanker.
we're not talking about jet planes.
What's that song? Have you heard that song? What is it? They say you've changed. What is it? Deal with it. You know that one? I forget what's going.
No,
they say you've changed. Fucking deal with it, Joe. Deal with it. I ain't changed. I've changed. Yeah, for the better. I've got better. That's all.
I think I did you drop you a little sneaky text, anyway. Come on, what was the rock bottom, Michael Bisping? What was the rock bottom?
Yeah. The reason I mentioned the documentary because it goes into it there, and I've been pretty lucky in terms of we haven't had any major tragedy in my life. Do you know what I mean? So we're looking like that. Of course, you know, family members pass away as they get older and whatnot, but no immediate family members. Obviously, my brother had a pickaxe stuck in his head when we were younger, but he managed to battle through that. And, you know, he's still living a great life with the challenges that he has in his day-to-day. My parents are still around to this day. So I'm very lucky in that regard. So I guess I'll talk about myself. So it would be, obviously, with my eye. You know, when I lost the eye, I got head kicked on Vito Belfort. Then a while later, I was doing this in restaurants. I was like, I can't see my fingers. Anyway, long story short, I found out I had a detached retina. They did a surgery. They repaired the detached retina. And I was training to fight Mark Munoz. I had to go up to LA to do some press. And I went up to LA, I did the press, and I was driving back. And I was driving along. As I'm looking here, my vision, it was like someone drew a pair of curtains. The vision went like that. And I just had a small little window there. And I was like, out of one eye. This eye was okay, but I just went like that. I was like, whoa, the fuck was that? That's not normal. So anyway, I called my doctor, and I called Dana White as well, actually. I said, hey, Dana, I'm seeing a doctor in the morning. I said, they might want to do surgery. Obviously, I was main evented in Manchester. And he said, and Dana said, well, that's it, fight's off. I went, no, Dana, no, fight's not off. I said, we still got 6 weeks. I said, listen, I'm in good shape. I said, I'll have the surgery tomorrow. Give me a few weeks to recover, and I'll still fight. He's like, Michael, you're out of your goddamn mind. What are you talking about? You're having surgery for a detached retina tomorrow. The fight's off. You know, and people like to hate on Dana, but he does care about the fighters. I mean, that was an inconvenience to him. But he's like, no, your health has to come first, Mike. The fight's off, simple as that. Anyway, so I went and had the surgery. And then the next day, Dana called me up and he's like, you spoke to your surgeon? I said, no. He said, well, I have. I said, yeah, go on. He said, well, you're never going to fight again. He just came out of it like that. I went, what? He said, yeah, you know, your eye's a mess, Michael. You're never going to fight again. So that was tough. It wasn't the lowest. That was tough. And I was like fighting about the tears and whatnot, you know, because I hear Dana say that. I'm like, fuck, that's it.
And where was you in your career at this time, Mike? Around what sort of
This
fight?
was 2013. I just moved here. I wasn't financially stable. I had a former manager that was suing the bollocks off me. And it was all a totally fabricated lawsuit that just got dismissed recently at the courts. And he owes me a ton of money in legal fees. Total lies, total stitch job. It's unreal that the lawsuit even got that far. But the context of that is that, yeah, I was fighting, but I had a lot of legal troubles going on that the lawyers were costing an absolute fortune. We were in a new place. You know, I was still trying to chase my personal goals and dreams, if you will, but that wasn't why it was a downer. It's like, I just want to do it for my family. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, we want to make money and I want to be successful. But if that's been taken away from me, it's, number one, it's the reason we moved to America. Number two, it's like, well, what else am I going to do now? At that point, I hadn't had the foresight to try and diversify in different areas. You know, so at that point, that was tough, but I still never gave up hope. So I carried on seeing the doctor. And I'd go and see the doctor, and I'd go and see the doctor, and there'd never be a change. You know, I still, like every 2 weeks, I do like a 2-hour drive to go see this doctor, and I go in and they blur your vision and they do all the tests and say, yeah, no change. And I'm like, I'm going to keep trying because to get licensed, you need 2200 vision. Obviously, perfect vision is 20/20. 2200 vision is classed as clinically blind, right? And so there you go. But I still couldn't even see that. And anyway, I was 6-8 months, maybe a year this was going on. Rebecca, God bless her, she was there every step of the way with me because I couldn't drive back because they blur your vision and whatnot. And I went in one day. Sorry, it's a long story, Joe. And I went in one day and this other doctor was there. And he told me to book a fight. I said, what are you talking about? I said, they said I can't. And he was on this little chair with wheels on. And he uses his feet and he scurries over to me and gets nice and close in the headbutt zone. And he says, listen, Michael, my dad always told me there's 2 types of people in the jungle. First type of person in the jungle swings through on a vine and they wait until they have hold of another vine before they let go. He said, the next type swings through the jungle on a vine and they fucking let go and they hope that they catch another one. He said, something tells me you're that second type of person. I said, I am, dog. I am. He said, okay, we'll book a fight and we'll figure it out. We'll work on your eye. We're the best in the world. You know, book a fight, get training. Because I was told I couldn't even train. I couldn't do anything to get my heart rate up. Do you know what I'm saying? So I was just depressed, sitting on the couch. I was drinking a lot. I was just watching fucking TV till 3 o'clock in the morning, thinking that my life was over. Do you know what I mean? So that was huge. But one of the darkest, it's all related, was a bit later. I took the dog for a walk with Rebecca, and I had Lucas. He was only a little on my shoulders. And I started getting a headache. And I get back to my house, and the headache got so bad, I was face down on the floor, and my head was just, the pain, it was just fucking exploding, throbbing like crazy. So Rebecca calls my eye doctor, and he says he needs to go see a doctor immediately. So we went, but he was going into surgery, so it couldn't be him. So he gave us an address of a different place. We drive down there, and they have a way of testing the pressure in your eye. And my pressure was like in the high 80s. Typically, it should be between 11 and 20. Anything over 20 is alarming. High 80s, this doctor said he'd never seen it so high. And when I say my head was going to explode, it literally, my eyeball was going to explode. And I'll explain, because what I had was glaucoma. And if you touch your eyeball, there's moisture, right? And there's always water going into it, and there's a little drain in your eye so it doesn't get full. Well, glaucoma is when that drain blocks. So water was going into my eyeball, but it wasn't draining out. So it's like a balloon on the end of a tap. What's going to happen? Well, it's going to pop. So that's what was going on in my head. And this doctor said, you need to go to another hospital, because I can't do the procedure here, but they can shoot a laser into your eye that might unclog the drain. So we jump in the car, we drive another bloody hour to another hospital, sitting in traffic. I'm in pain, like the worst pain ever. And anyway, I get there, I go in, they shoot me with a laser, they give me a bunch of strong medication for the pain and whatnot, and send me home. The medication makes me all groggy, but it doesn't really stop the pain, and the laser hadn't unclogged the drain either. Now it's 2 o'clock in the morning. This started at 10 a.m. I'm still screaming in my bedroom. I'm like, the worst pain ever. So my wife calls my original doctor's cell phone, mobile phone. And in the middle of the night, said, I'm so sorry to wake you up. And he could hear me screaming in the background. He's like, is that him screaming? Is he still in pain? And she's like, yes, he needs to see an emergency surgeon right now. So he arranged somebody in Pasadena. We jumped in the car. We drove up to Pasadena. Again, I get there. There was a doctor and a nurse waiting outside this small little place. And I was horrible, because I was like a wounded bear. And I was like, fuck you, fucking do something. I was ashamed of myself, but I was in so much pain.
A little similar to Wake Up days.
Yeah, maybe not that bad. So he comes in with some anesthetic, sticks a needle right in my eyeball. That took the pain away instantly. I was like, oh. And then I started with the apologies. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm very embarrassed. I said, you don't understand the pain. Anyway, he said, listen, you've got glaucoma. And he pulls out this little drain. He says, well, we want to put this into your eye. I said, well, hold on. Can I fight with this in my eye? He said, Michael, never mind that. He said, you need this surgery. He said, the painkiller is going to wear off soon, and you're going to be back feeling how you were. We need to put this into your eye. I said, well, no, if I can't fight, you're not doing it. And he said, well, as it happens, a heavyweight boxing world champion that you probably know, that I'm not going to give you the name, and I still don't know who it was. He said, but you probably know him. He said, we put one of these in his eye, and he was still able to box. I was like, right, cool, let's do it then. So they do the surgery. I get taped down to a fucking bed. I go unconscious with the anesthetic. And then I come round, and the surgery hasn't finished yet. And I come round on the bed, and I'm like, I start freaking out a bit. And they're like, oh, Michael, you've woke up a little bit early. Just stay calm, stay calm. I'm thrashing like this, and I just see another big needle come into my eye. And I'm like, what the fuck's going on? Pardon my language. And then the pain just starts, and the pain was so bad. And when I say bad, I mean so bad. And the doctor's freaking out. He's like, what's going on? Is it like before? I'm like, no, worse than before. Before it was like dull, like that dull throbbing, but insane. This was sharp. You know what I mean?
Right,
Someone,
right.
Like a real sharp pain. I was contorting around, you know what I mean? So somebody sticks another needle in my eye to numb the pain. I go unconscious, and I wake up the next day. And what happened was the colored part of your eye, the iris, is like a gel disc. And he put this drain into my eye, and he messed up the procedure, and it kind of sucked my iris into the drain. So it was all kind of mangled up. So they had to undo all the surgery and then redo it properly. And I woke up the next day, my eye was so painful, and I never saw that eye ever again after that. Total darkness. Before there was, as I say, I was trying to get that 2200 vision and all the rest of it, and I could make out lights, and But after that, never saw nothing. Now, that was a long-winded answer to the darkest days, but that whole period, that whole time there, that was definitely dark days.
That isn't just, obviously the pain sounds excruciating, but it's about the mental journey as well, isn't it?
Oh, of course.
Because you're in a new country. You're trying to start afresh, and there's a potential that could come to a close.
It was all crashing down like a house of cards. Do you know what I mean? And it really was. And I'd earned some money in my fight career, and when I moved to America, I had a fair chunk of change. That all went on legal fees, and then it started on the money I was earning over here. And I'm like, fucking, what is going on? I don't believe this has happened to me. And then, of course, I can't, still carrying on fighting with one eye, won the world championship. So every cloud has a silver lining, but still, there you go.
It does indeed. It does indeed. And we're going to up the tempo in round 4.
Round 4.
We've slumped a bit on round 3 because we've gone a bit deep there.
Whoa. I mean, the way I tell the story, though.
No, it's a great story. It's a great story, but
very engaging.
A
lot of people want to end this right now. They don't want round 4. They're like, round 3 was so good. Round 3 was so good. We could end it there. I want to do 4 and 5. But you said it was a slump. That was the FightMad Podcast all-time high moment.
Round 4, championship rounds. What is your biggest musical inspiration? Now, we hear music in the gym, preferably UFC Gym UK gyms.
Preferably
UFC Gym UK gyms. We hear music for the walkouts. We all know about your walkout tune with Blur, which people go nuts with, and a lot of people, not everybody, a lot of people know you as DJ Mikey B.
It's all over there. If you could spin the camera around, you got all the equipment, you got thousands of records. Believe it or not, I'm working on some tracks as well, but that's another story. Continue.
Nice plug. What is your Mikey B or Michael Bisping biggest musical inspiration and why?
Oh God, these are hard questions. You should have prepped me, Joe.
They're great. They're great.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, it's greatest inspiration. Well, I know what it is.
Your biggest musical inspiration.
I mean, I like a bit of everything. I have a rather eclectic taste. So even when I'm in the garage, I have light songs on Spotify, and it's not really workout type music. Sometimes I'll bang one of my own mixes on and bang some DJ stuff on, bang some like house music and some dance music. And I like a bit of rock and this and that. Sometimes it's like the Eagles or whatever. Sometimes it's some nice slow. I like a bit of classical music these days as well. There's a composer called Max Richter. Look him up on Spotify. Very relaxing. It's beautiful, but it's kind of deep as well. Richter. Max Richter. You want to do some work, we want some music on that's not going to distract you, you'll like it. It's great. But I said all that to make it sound like I've got decent taste, because I know what it is, the greatest inspiration, and it gets me every goddamn time. And I'm not alone in it, and it's the whole bloody world. But it's the Rocky soundtrack. I'm telling you. I wish I could say something better, but the Rocky films, when I was a kid, right, they got me going. And the soundtrack, and I have it on my phone, Bill Conti, the composer, all those tracks. Yes, I had the Tiger, but just all of them. Those tunes, those tracks, those pieces of music make me want to train. They make me want to fight. They make me want to run. They make me want to hit the gym. When I was a kid, the Rocky movies, me and my brother Conrad, after we would always get up in front of the fire, we would like have a little box and stuff. Do you know what I mean? So, and my wife hates it. She hates it all. Do you know? Oh my God, it's so tacky, it's so terrible, it's so cheesy. I'm like, maybe to you, but it's not to me. And every time, because now and again, a fighter will walk out to one of the Rocky classics, and I'm like, oh yeah, you got my respect here, buddy. It's
in the DNA. I get it.
It's obvious. It's a little cheesy. It's a little unimaginative. But I'm telling you, but it probably means the same thing to them as it means to me, because throughout the late 80s and the 90s, 70s weren't it, the first Rocky movie, and I was born in 79, so throughout, those Rocky movies were definitely a part of my life, and they meant so much to me, and I think they're great movies, by the way, stand the test of time. Some of the later ones are a little bit more cheesy, but whatever, but those first 4 movies were fantastic, and yeah, the Rocky soundtrack, all of them, the slow ones, the fast ones, Eye of the Tiger, all the shit.
I love it. I love it. You've surprised me with that, but I fully get it. And the old goosebumps are going.
Yeah.
Because I think anyone who's been a combat sports competitor, that is pure inspiration right there.
Was it Fires Burning? That one? You know that one?
Yeah.
I can't sing it. I can't remember it in my head right now. I've been hitting the head too many times. But,
there's one of the tracks actually out, Rocky 3, when he goes to Apollo Creed's old gym.
Yeah, and he's boxing the bubbles.
Yeah.
And he walks in and they're all like, what the fuck is this guy? He's trying to do the footwork and stuff.
Cool. Yeah, unbelievable.
Yeah, no, it's great.
I've got a question for you off of the back of that one. And you don't have to answer this one because it's not our fifth round. But you
could say it's 4.5.
4.5. Did you get up early in the morning and crack a load of raw eggs and down them after the Rocky film?
Never once. Never contemplated it. Never in a million years. No way. Still never done it. And it's bullshit. It's stupid. I guess you're getting on some eggs, but if you're gonna have some eggs, just cook them. Do you know what I mean? They're still going in your system.
They're in your system.
Still in your system, all of it, no waste. Just warm them up a little bit. Rocky, you're out of your mind. Listen, I know the mean streets of Philadelphia. Money's tight. You know, Paulie's not bringing anything in. Adrian, a few hours at the pet shop, that ain't adding much. You know, so he's saving on gas and electric. I get it.
She probably didn't sell enough turtles that month to get the heating on.
Listen, I'm just going to throw this out there. 4.7. Who's your least favorite character? Adrian. Mopey bitch.
You know what I mean? Michael.
We could do without Adrian. And that's why Rebecca hates the movies, because she always gets compared to Adrian.
No. She
wasn't brilliant. She was a miserable.
Paulie was not the one. He was a
good character, though.
He was a great character, but I
liked Paulie.
His head should have come off a few times, right?
Yeah, no, he should have definitely got bingoed once or twice. You know what I mean?
just for the. Anyway, we're gonna go on to the last and final round.
Nervous.
Round 5.
You're nervous. This is a big one. We go deep again, and you've had in your career you've had some amazing people in your corner. Big shout out to Jason Perillo and Brady Fink, who've been in your corner since you've been in the States, correct?
Uh-huh.
This last question, in life, we all have ups and downs, as we've discussed in round 3. I want Michael Bisping to create your dream corner team for life.
Oh.
With the 3 most important people from your life. And they could be past or present, Michael Bisping.
Yeah. So it's not fight ready. It's just my corner team for life.
Your corner team for life.
Yeah.
Three names and why.
Well, that's hard. And listen, Joe, I don't know if you know this, but I think
you know a lot of people.
Nearly all my fights were main events. You get 4 cornermen.
4 cornermen. Yeah.
You get 4 cornermen.
I actually remember. Did Jacko, your friend Jacko, do your corner once?
Jacko did do my corner. Yeah, I think he did. Yeah.
Didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, I know where this is going. You're like, you never had me in your corner, did you, Mike? Callum did my corner once, which
must have been amazing. So in life,
just on that, Callum was in my corner. It was terrible. He gave terrible advice. I'm like, son, you're fired. No, that's not why it was terrible. What are you talking about? You should have bob. I should have weaved. You're done. You're sacked. No, what happened was, you know, when you're walking into the ring, that's going to the octagon, and you know, you hug all your cornermen, you say best of luck, or whatever it is. You know, sometimes you fist bump or whatever. At that moment, I turned around, I gave Callum a big hug, and I was almost crying. Well, in fact, I was. My tears welled up, and it's an emotional moment. You know, I'm going to go to battle, and my son's there. I don't know. And then now afterwards, he was like, "Dad, I love that. Can I do your next one, please?" I said, "Son, it was very special for me, and I loved it." I said, "But I'm going to say no." I said, "Because I got too emotional." I said, "I was going into fight." I said, "I don't need that kind of distraction." You know what I mean? And he fully understood. He said, "No, I get it, Dad," because he saw me being a little wimp, having to wipe my eyes.
But let's be honest. You are, you know, people know you as, you know, brash, honest, open guy. But you are a deep soul. You do think a lot. You are deep.
Thank you. No,
in a nice way. I'm not being condescending. That's genuine.
No, I know that, John. Thank you very much. And because often the image that I portray is like that, my public persona, if you will.
Correct.
So, and certainly on my podcast, that kind of perpetuates that as well. But of course,
and you play on it a little.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I do. I play on it a little bit, and and it's fun. You live up to that character and whatnot. But that's not who I really am. But well, first off, it's got to be my wife. It's got to be Rebecca. She's been there day one. Fighting is an incredibly tough business. It's so hard, and that's why people say, "Oh, do you want Callum to fight?" And I say, well, not really, because he's a smart kid. He's a good wrestler. He just won 2 jiu-jitsu tournaments. Well, I've got a gold and a silver in 2 tournaments at the weekend. He's got all the tools, but it's a tough job. But anyway, the reason I say that is because when I quit work to become a fighter, we were skint. We were proper skint. We had nothing, but for me, it was exciting because I was going away to another city. I was training in something new and exciting and trying to make something of my life and chasing my own dreams. And I was sleeping in my car and it was a struggle and I was living off bloody tuna sandwiches and whatnot. But still, I was working towards something. For the first time in my life, I felt like I was living the life I always should have done, not fucking clocking in for £3.60 an hour. Do you know what I'm saying? Busting my back. But whilst I was doing that, Rebecca was at home. She was still at home holding down the fort, looking after the kids, working full time. I remember she called me up. I was sleeping in my car. She was crying her eyes out. Bills are coming in. How are we going to pay them? And I was like, oh, God, I'm going to book a fight, babe. I promise. So anyway, she gave up her hopes and dreams. She gave up her life so I could chase mine. So, of course.
And she has been your rock and she's your number
one. 100%. 100%.
Number one choice, Rebecca Bisping.
Number 2, I got to say my old man. He's a nutter. And he doesn't always give the best advice, I'll tell you that. But he has supported me through thick and thin, throughout the course of my career. I want to throw my mum in as well, but I'm not, because she's a terrible cornerman and she's awesome. I love her dearly. She's the best and she's the sweetest lady and all the rest of it. But you ain't getting in the corner, Mum. I'm sorry. You can be like, she can carry my bags. My mum's carrying my bags.
Cool.
Okay.
Cool. That's nice. That's nice.
It's not an official corner member. They're limited. Sorry, Mum. You can carry my bags. We're going for Dad. We're going for Jen. I've got to say my dad, because he drove me up and down the country. As you know, Joe, he's been to every fight. He doesn't have a lot of money, but he came out to every single fight. And I'd help him out, this and that. But he's been there every step of the way, and he's been my strongest support. And he's and if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be sitting here in this position now. No
way would you be sat there, and I've got to say, no way would I be sat here if my father didn't take me to karate as a 6-year-old.
100%.
But your father is absolute gentleman, madman at the same time. And you know the old saying, the apple don't fall far from the tree.
Yeah. And that's a shame.
I get it. So number 2 is going to Dad.
By the way, real quick on that note, any parents that are going to watch this, one of the best things you can do is put your kids in martial arts. It really is. And it sounds, obviously, we're going to say that we're biased or whatever, but trust me, go find a good traditional dojo and send your kids there. Tell them it's not a democracy. While you live in this house twice a week until you're 18 or you move out, you're doing that. Trust me, they'll thank you later. And Number 3.
You can actually log on to ufcgym.co.uk.
There you go.
For more information in Nottingham, Medway and Reading.
How do you know so much about this, Joe?
It just so happens. Number 3, Michael.
Number 3, this is the hard one. So we've got Rebecca, we've got my dad. Sounds like a nightmare, doesn't it? Jesus Christ, traveling the world with them two.
You're going to get some phone calls after this podcast.
Yeah, no, I know.
Why wasn't I number 3?
I mean, my head coach was Perillo, but this is for life. I love Jason, love Brady, love everyone that's helped me over the years. Third person.
Can I just put it out there? You're not going to say Vin. Obviously not Vin.
I was thinking about it.
No, let's stop right there. Vin's not getting a shout out on this.
Listen,
Vin, I'm sorry, Vin. You're not getting number 3 spot. You're barred.
He never responded to my last message.
There you go.
Hold on, let me see. I don't know, mate. I don't know. It's a tough one. I've got 3 kids, so I can't say one of them, can I? My dog just died last week, so I can't say him. No. You know, I've got a lot of old mates, but I don't want to distinguish between them two, you know, between all of them and pick one. That would just make it weird for everyone else. And probably weird for the mate that I picked. Jacko was a good cornerman, but he disappeared off to Australia. You've been a good mate as well over the years, Joe. You're one of the boys, but again, I can't throw a mate in there. Oh my God.
Come on, Bisping.
Terrible podcasting.
Come on. I mean, the klaxon's going. How many seconds on the klaxon? Is it 10 seconds? 10 seconds. Come on.
We'll throw Callum in there. For life. Cornerman for life. It's hard. I've got my dad. I've got my...
Callum Bisping. Can we just talk
Conrad. Throw my brother in there.
Lovely.
Throw my brother Conrad.
And is this your brother who had the problems when you was younger? With
yeah. He was in the army and he was getting ready to fly. So I deployed to Iraq. He was the commanding officer. This little shit wasn't pulling his weight, so he was giving him a hard time. They stopped. My brother smoked cigarettes, took his helmet off, smoking one, and then the guy sneaks up behind him, boom, with a big pickaxe right in the back of his head. We thought he was going to die. They were reading him last rites, all that shit. You know, we were all by the hospital bed. Was not looking good. I had to take my driving test as it was. So I'd been there for days, nothing else I could do. So I went home and took my driving test. Passed, of course, first time. And a few days later, we get a phone call. Conrad's woke up. He's awake. He's sitting up. He's asking for a coffee and a cigarette. And we're like, amazing. This is great. But that was just the beginning of his problems, to be honest, you know. So, but, you know, he's like 99% blind, has extreme tunnel vision. I don't want to go into the details, but he's on a lot of medication and he'll never work again or anything like that. And he had a carer 24/7 just to be able to function and whatnot. But he went off and he was training for the Paralympics in shot put and discus. And you'll never hear him complain. You never hear him feel sorry for himself. I'm sure he does. I'm sure he has dark days. I'm sure because I'm telling you, 6'6", built like a brick shit house. He was an amazing rugby player. Everyone loved him. The biggest personality you've ever seen. I'm really quiet and shy compared to Conrad. You know what I mean? Everyone loved him. Girls loved him. Guys wanted to be him. That type of guy. You know, and then that happened to him. And he was on the verge of signing for St. Helens as a professional rugby player as well. And he's all his life before him, probably about 25. But you never hear him complain. And then he goes and focuses on becoming in the Paralympics for shot put and discus. Do you know what I mean? That's the type of guy you want in your corner.
Tremendous. And I think, Mike, it's a lovely way to round up the podcast because it just shows, you know, as we touched base on a little earlier, you are a deep guy. You know, you have got a heart. No, seriously.
You almost had me crying there, Joe.
You have got a heart, and for you to pick 3 family members is a big thing. It's a big thing, and I thank you for coming on the FightMad podcast. It's our first one, and I hope everyone that's listened has enjoyed it. And we're going to be back very soon. We've got some amazing other athletes coming on.
Oh,
some industry insiders. Some of them you know, Michael. Some of them you know. And some amazing celebrity fight fans. Maybe Vin will even come on if Michael phones
I'll give him a bell, but as I say, he's right off these days.
Or if he replies back even. I mean...
No, I'm joking. He's not that he's going to see this, but I'm only messing. But
yeah, well, if
you want to give me a call back sometime.
Amazing. But thanks, Michael. Thank you for coming on. Listeners, thank you very much. And we'll be back very soon. Before we leave, Mike, what have you got?
Let me just give you a quick bit of advice.
All right.
What you do is at the end, the guest, you say, great having you on. We're going to let you get out of it. So anything you want to plug? Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
That's what I was just coming on to, but you rudely interrupted. I have got production notes here from my man Andreas, which are a bit of a head F because I thought I was going to freestyle it. And then he gave me about 6 or 8 pages of production notes, which is great.
Yeah, organization's good if you need it. If you get lost,
I need
go
it.
Back to the notes.
I need it. Michael, what's coming up for you, sir?
No. I'm messing, mate. I'm messing. I've got nothing to plug.
Well, you have, because I know you're coming back to the UK.
No, I know, but I don't do all that crap anyway. Oh, yeah, that's it.
Right, so you're coming back to the UK, so can we...
I have a tour coming up, yeah. if you want to go, London, Manchester, Birmingham, Dublin and Glasgow, all starting from the 4th of October to like the 11th or something. Check it out, myticket.co.uk. Myself, I'll be talking about my career. It's called Tales from the Octagon. We've got a stand-up comedian, Luis J. Gomez, warming up the crowd before I come out. It's going to be a laugh. We did it in Toronto a couple of years ago. Just kind of came out of nowhere. This agent kind of just made me the offer when I was in Toronto a lot of the time. There's a lot of MMA fans up there. I was like, yeah, all right, it might be a laugh. So we did it, and it was a laugh. It was hilarious. Honestly, I had a great time. Everyone there, there's about 600 people showed up, and it was awesome. I loved it. And I thought to myself, I've got to bring this back to England because it was fun. But then obviously a pandemic hit, so, you know, that went out the window. And I ever got the best organization skills. I was a fighter, so there was that as well. And then I spoke to some partners, and they came out of the blue. They made me an offer for these cities and yada, yada, yada. They're great, and here we go. Yeah, so right now I think Dublin's like 98% sold out. The ticket sales have been fantastic, but there is still some available. So myticket.co.uk. I'm terrified. These venues got like 3,500 people. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, what the hell? First of all, I was terrified no one was going to show up. I'm like, that big? You got a lot of faith in me with this. But yeah, they've been very strong. So check it out if you want.
It's actually been quite funny because my phone's gone as if I'm promoting the bloody event. There's a lot of people. Are you going to the Michael Bisping? No, I'm not. But I'll catch you in Dublin and London.
You better be there, Joe. But the funny thing
I'll be
is,
there. 100%.
Hey, listen. You know how it is, don't you? You know, people,
yeah.
Tickets. Mike.
How'd you get them?
How'd you get tickets? Can I get them off you? And it's like, you know, you can fucking get them off me. Do you know what I mean? And he's like, I want to buy a ticket. Where can I get one from? Well, it's very simple. If you go to my social media, it's plastered all over it. myticket.co.uk. You know, if I'm going to get you, number one, they want it for free, which I will comp all my friends, but you know, that has to stop at some point. If I get to, and I learned this in my UFC, I'll let you go on this one. UFC 70, first fight in England for the UFC. Everyone wanted a ticket. It's Manchester. And I was trying to do it, right? I was trying to get tickets for everyone. But
I was there.
And I was there. I was on the floor. And at one point, I said tickets all over the place. I had piles of cash for the tickets everywhere, right? And then I've got to find the people, give them the tickets. It's a lot of stress. And I'm trying to get ready for like a very, very high profile fight. And this is what I'm doing. At that point, I said, you know what? That's it. I'm done. Never again. So myticket.co.uk. If you want to be there, if you don't,
be there.
Be there.
Get it. And I'm just going to add a little story to that very quickly before we go. I was actually at a London show at the O2. I don't know if it was either Anderson Silva. It may have been the Anderson Silva fight. Maybe. Oh, yeah, no, it was Anderson Silva. And there was a couple of guys in the area where you collect tickets. I forget what it's called in the O2, like collections.
Box office collection. What do they call it in America? I never understand why they call it something different in America. Yeah, no, they do have.
It's an odd name in America.
It is.
What is it called?
Odd.
What's it called?
Lewis, will call.
Will call. What is that?
Will call. When you get tickets from an arena, it's will call. Yeah, will call.
What is that?
Why did they call it will call?
What is that? Anyway, we was in the box office, and there was two specific people. We won't say their names, who was there to collect tickets for your fight as your guests. They ended up having a fight inside of the box office to get their tickets first. Oh. And I was stood there with your father.
It's a hot ticket to get, John.
Who's not
people will fight for them.
And it was going off in the box office. I was like, oh my God. And your dad was stood there as if nothing was going on. It was like, what?
Yeah.
Cool as a cucumber.
Just walking the park from my dad.
Yeah, you know cool as a cucumber. Absolutely brilliant. Michael Bisping, thank you for being my first guest. It's the Fight Mad Podcast. We'll catch you on the tour.